Welcome everyone in our step-by-step learning Blazor. So today we will see how we can do add, update and delete in Blazor. So let's start. So as we completed uh, listing of customer from the database. So today our plan is to add customer and edit customer as well as delete inside the Blazor with the help of web API. So to show that we need to add one page component so that we can design a form. So let's add one Blazor component with the name of customer add edit so that we can add few UI. So it's customer add edit dot razor. With that we also need to add code behind file as our regular class. So we'll add one.cs file where we will change this class into a partial class. With that it's perfect. Now it's time to add a page directive so that we can access this page from the URL. So we'll say page customer ID edit, and if we want to edit we'll pass customer ID. With that we need to have some code behind code that can call our customer data service and country, as well as you can navigate. So we'll add few property very similar to previously that we created. So we will add property inside this one. So here we have a few set of properties, that is a customer data service, country data service and navigation manager for the navigation, and we are going to have a customer ID for edit from the parameter, and we are creating a customer so that you can set the values, and similar we are creating for the countries. Now when our uninitialize is called, so let's say protected override and override async. So async, and then definitely it's a task, so we'll override uninitialize on initialized async, so that we can write few line of code with that. So when it's initiated, what we can do, we can write some logic when we try save. So before writing the code for save, we need to design our HTML form. So let's design. So similar to our ASP.NET MVC HTML helper class, we have a very good we can say HTML support in Blazor. So we'll say edit form, and with edit form we can use our model. So it's a model. So model is our customer. So let's bring our customer over here. We'll say customer model. With that we need to design our form. So we can do kind of a HTML like with a div, and I will say label for enter first name, and then here we are doing the two-way binding. So bind value will do the two-way binding with the help of this bind tag. So Blazor support this bind value tag, and for validation we can use a lambda expression for this field. So this is the way how we display the message. Similarly, we can write our form for first name, last name, etc. So let's add few HTML tags. With that, we can do some logic. So let's I already created a HTML tag, so let me put it on over here so that we can do the just check what are the things that Blazor works. So in place of writing all, I'm just adding HTML tags with few logics. So what I'm doing in this case, let me create a like this form support on invalid submit, on valid submit. So if someone do the invalid submit, then we can do some checking on the code, and if it's a valid, then we can call another event handler for the submit that we call for the save. So this is how this edit form supports. And this data annotation validator is basically for the inbuilt support for the validation and validation summary, very similar to our ASP.NET MVC. So if you already worked with ASP.NET MVC, you already know this annotation validator and validation summary. So in to remove this red warning, let me create the event handler for this validation and submit. So for the save, we can add a code so that we can remove that red error, and then for the invalid submit, what we can do, we can add another event handler that is also a kind of task. So we'll say like this. So these are the two that will fix that red errors. Now we have this method, and very similar to the first name, we have things for the last name, and for the email we are doing the two-way binding for customer email at the for the validation message. And for date of birth, this one is input type date, and we have a birth date. Similar to that, we are doing here input select, so we are setting a country ID, and we are doing the for each for this country name for the select purpose. And after that, what we are doing, let's say we are adding a button. If customer ID is not is greater than 0, then we are showing the button for the delete, and we are calling the event handler for the delete customers. So let's create the delete customer too. So for that also we can add one more method for the delete customer similar to the previous one. So let's add this method too, and with that, if everything is correct, we are able to fix this delete customer. And then we can also create this navigation so that we can navigate to our customer list. So let's create that method too, so that we can navigate for the customer list UI. So as simple as it's all about this navigation. So here what I had written the logic, there I have taken a one variable to handle the display logic. So we have a one protected public variable that is a saved, so we are handling logic for that. And we also need a private public variable for the message to display, so that you can show the data is saved or not kind of messages. So let me add that too for the messaging purpose. So I already added this saved and message. Now let's write the logic for the form initialization. So what we can do in first call, what we can say, let's say save equals false, and then we can load our countries with the help of our country data service. So let's call it await, and then we have our country data service, and then country data service we have get all countries, and then what we can do dot to list, so that we can set all the countries. So dot to list, with this we able to load all the countries for the drop down, and then we check the customer ID. If it is supplied with the parameter, then convert it to the customer ID, and otherwise this one is the new form. So we can say if customer ID equals 0, then supply a default value to generate the form. Otherwise get this get the customer by the help of customer ID. So our customer data service will provide our customer. Similar to that, if someone do the valid submit, then what we can do, we can call our service that we created for add and update. So this time what we do on valid submit, what we can do, if customer ID equals 0, then we call our customer add service, and if it's added, then we will display the message customer successfully. Otherwise we'll call our update customer and will display the message customer updated successfully. And if in case it goes wrong, we can say something went wrong kind of message. So this save valid on submit is done. Now if there is not a proper valid, then we can display a validation error. Similar to that, we with the help of our customer data service, we can also call for the delete. So in our customer delete customer, we are calling the customer ID and displaying the message customer deleted successfully. And if you remember our part 2, how we can navigate, so with the help of navigation manager, we can navigate to our customer list with the navigation manager. So in this way we can add, update, as well as do the for the add, update, delete. So let me fix this bracket problem. So we have this if else block, so everything is okay over here, and this one is uninitialized, so everything seems okay. I can fix it now, so we not need this one. With that, let's see in our HTML what is missing. So we have everything over here, okay, but still we are getting the red. So where we are missing, let me check. So this one is the section edit form, So oh, here we are missing a bracket. So with that, if you will see, now everything is okay. So our form is ready with two-way bind method, and our code behind is also ready, but we still need to do the implementation in our customer data service, so that we can do the real call for the for this our in our customer data service. We not had done the implementation for the add and update. So for the add, as we already had done few things, so what we can do, we can call our API. So we will convert our customer data into a JSON data type. So we are serializing our customer data, and then we can call our API for the JSON data. So with the help of static client, we are doing the async, and we are using await, then we need a async. So this is our API, and we are passing the data, and if it gets succeed, then it's done. So let's check for that. So if this status code is okay, then we just parse our data that is returning from the API. So this way we are implementing our add customer. Similar to this, we can call our API for update. So let's do the implementation for the update too. So in our update, that is our update method. So in this update method, similarly we are just do the serialize, and we will add async, and after serialization we are calling the put async customers with that data. So let's keep and this add and update in the same places, same in the just nearest, and then we need to do the implementation for the delete as well. So delete is as simple as we just call the API with the help of parameter customer ID. So this time we are calling customer by customer ID, and here also we also need to add async. So with this our this delete customer API is also implemented. Now let's try to build. If everything is okay, then our implementation is complete. We also need to add navigation part 2, so that you can navigate. We are getting some error. Let's check what are the errors, and let's fix it. So no error. Okay, great. Now in our navigation manager, where is our navigation manager? Inside this shared one, nav menu. So we will add one menu for the we'll say add customer. Let's say add customer. So for this add customer, we need to provide this navigation URL. So this one is our customer URL. With that we will be able to reach, and we also need to do the edit. So let's move in our components. We have a customer card. Here in place of link, we can redirect to our customer edit, and we'll say edit. So with this we will be able to navigate with the ID. So let's check it. I think if everything goes correct, we will be able to navigate to our customer form. So let's see if everything is in our customer list. If I will go I can see over here edit button. So if I'll do the edit, I'm able to load that data, and if I want to back, then I'm able to list. If I will go with add customer, then I get the blank page. Let's add one customer. So I will say Suman Khadka, and email ID su@gmail.com, and date of birth, just select any date, and country, let's make it India, and then save customer. And if we go back to our list, we have a Suman Khadka. If we try to edit, and we'll say test, and let's save the customer. So we are able to add the name as well over here. If you go in full details, everything is working fine. So everything we had done previously. Today what we had done with the two-way binding, we created a form with the I need to add the validation so that I can show you one more thing missing. So in our customer, let's add some data annotation so that we can show the validation message as well. So for this first name, I'm adding the required as well as a maximum length. For this last name as well, let's add one more message for this one. And this time, if you will try to do the blank submit, we must get the validation error. So let's check that too. Hope it works, because we already added the validator control and validation summary. So with that, if I will go and try to add a new customer, then I must get a validation message. So if I'll try to do the blank submit, you can see there was a message shown it's required. So that's all that we plan for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much.